Welcome to Flying with the Stars. We have 4 rock stars with us today for the CJP Companion Program, and starting with my wife, Patty, right next to me,
Hi there.
Cindy Broyles, Bonnie Tria,
Hi.
and our flight safety instructor, Mr. Rusty Owen. Welcome.
Hi.
So let's talk a little bit about the program. I know how afraid I am when I get in the CJ3 simulator. Tell me about, were you apprehensive going into the program before you got there?
Who do you want first?
Cindy, say something.
Okay, so I was so excited. I wasn't apprehensive about the simulator, but because I knew I couldn't hurt anything, I couldn't, land hard, or if I did, I could be fixed immediately. So I was so excited about the simulator. I've always wanted to do that, and flight safety made it happen, and I just loved it. I would do it over and over. I mean, I was ready to start and just take me back to the end of the runway and let me land again. I mean, I love
it. Bonnie, how about you?
Well, I'm obviously a beginner at all this. I'm very new to sitting in the cockpit, and had some apprehension just being a passenger up there because I was so unfamiliar with the equipment. I didn't really know what to think or what to expect going into this class. So I have to say that I wasn't really excited, but I wasn't terrified either. I really kind of just walked in going, this is going to be a new world for me. So
I was terrified. Terrified. I had heard David's stories about how you go up in the simulator and you get to 32,000 feet and they say, oops, there go 2 engines. Now what? Yeah, so I really didn't know what to expect other than the stories I had heard.
Patty paced up and down for about a month, just constantly up and down for about a month. But it turned out that it wasn't so bad, actually. Tell me a little bit about the classroom part, because you probably didn't have any idea what that was going to be. Tell me your thoughts about the classroom.
Well, all the information for me was all brand new. So I did a lot of trying to process everything that was being said. I think Rusty did a great job of making it as concise and basic as possible. And I think he spoke more my language than I expected. I thought everything was going to be over my head, but Rusty did a great job of speaking to me.
Cindy?
Well, I thought the classroom was a lot of fun too, but I agreed. There were no bad questions, which was always good. I really felt like he meant that. Everything was easy to read. The checklist, I'm just such a fan of that checklist, and that makes a huge difference if you can follow through that. And it was fun. I mean, he made it fun. It wasn't intimidating to me.
I understand you actually got to help design the checklist. Is that you were talking about the font size and the pictures?
We just needed basic. We wanted it to be, because in that moment you're not going to be you're going to be crazy if you really had to do that. And so it just needs to be really clear. And I like that they had the little pictures that pointed to what they were talking about, because I think you would just really have to focus and go down that list, and that list is there. So they did ask questions.
I liked how they were very good about making a step-by-step process. And there were only a few words for each number 1, number 2, number 3. And like she said, it was very precise, so that you could just be in a really traumatic kind of situation and glance at it and get some information, and then be able to go back to looking at the controls.
What was the most challenging part?
At first, for me, it was taxiing until I figured out how to look farther down the runway instead of the nose of the plane, because I was all over the place initially. And then the other most challenging part, of course, is I think landing, just because that's the most challenging part. Figuring out the timing of when you're just about to touch down and flaring and all of those things, the timing of all of that is very complicated.
That's really true. It's like, I did okay until we got to the actual after the touchdown. And then between the rhythm of hitting the brakes and trying to steer it, and all of a sudden the steering is very different. And I felt like I was all over the place. But it also, the class itself made me feel more comfortable in that I knew that it didn't really matter if I went off or crashed or whatever. I was in a safe environment, and Rusty was going to get me back on track. And even better, would be able to try it again. That was good.
So just so our members know, those of us with a type rating never had any problem whatsoever taxiing. It's absolutely just, they're laughing. Everyone listening to this is laughing right now. So that,
Good.
talk to me a little bit about the importance of having the right instructor and Rusty.
Wow. I've never had any other instructor with regard to this, so I don't have anything to compare Rusty to. What I will say is that, and what I said a little bit earlier is, it's important that your student or your classroom can identify with what you're saying, and you have way more knowledge than I do, and for you to be able to translate your knowledge into a way that I could understand it, and to even be able to write and take notes, and it's not way above my head, that was really important to me, because it allowed me to even make bullet points on my own, because I learned by writing or seeing. That was real important to me. So I just felt like you did a great job of translating.
Cindy.
Yeah, I agree. Rusty was about as calm could be. And, even when you do something wrong, he's like, okay, well, let's just go back and there's okay, you can fix that, or you're not going to do anything. And so it was so calm. So I have had other instructors, and I've had good experience, but it's just very, very important to have the instructor that can deal with all levels too. I mean, and I ask a ton of questions, and I ask them again. So I don't just ask it once and remember, because I'll think, okay, what did I say it that way? So he's great at answering those questions multiple times. That's important.
I wasn't sure if he had worked with non-pilots very much. So I was grateful that he was able to dumb it down to very basic information, but still treat us like we were probably intelligent people, even though we were pilots.
So Rusty, I know that you have not probably done this before. What was it like for you?
It was very interesting. I really enjoyed working with everybody, and the input they had to build the course. Everybody had a different aspect that helped us design a certain phase of the course. And kind of like Patty said, as far as trying to make it easy to understand on certain parts, because of there's different aspects that they may know, and it was a lot of fun.
So I have to tell a story on Bonnie, because I think it's true and pretty funny. Yeah. In the scenario where the pilot becomes incapacitated, he has the seatbelt on and he slumps over. Rusty was in the left seat. Rusty slumps over with the seatbelt, and now he's incapacitated. And Bonnie grabs Rusty and said, Rusty, before you die, I have one more question about the airplane. So he had to come back to life to answer her question. So bottom line, would you recommend this course to others?
Oh,
absolutely. Absolutely. I would like to go and take it. And I agree with Cindy. I walked out of there wanting to go back in and try it over and over again to get it right. Not only just because of the gravity of and the importance of it, if I was ever in that situation, but I want to get it right. I tried it. It wasn't right. It wasn't just, but I want to get it right.
I felt the same way. And I came in there thinking, okay, if this is a traumatic situation, I'm going to be panicked and I'm going to be in survival mode. And instead, by the end of it, I felt like, wow, this is a challenge, and I have to do this again just to see if I can do it better the next time. So yeah, I agree.
Yes, totally.
I had the pleasure of sitting in the back for all three of the ladies, and all three of you said exactly the same 6 words as you rolled out after your landing, and those 6 words were, "I want to do this again." It's exactly the same. That's fantastic. We really appreciate you helping with the course, helping develop it, and talking with us today. And we'll turn it back to the convention and hopefully see everybody in person soon. Thanks so much.
Thank you. Bye.
Yeah, thank you all.